You can see questions. एक बार आप चेक करें तो मेरा स्टार्ट कीजिए.
I think yoga you'll be around only.
Yeah,
That is better because I don't know the complete context. I'm just filling in, right?
So now you are live.
We started.
Yes, ma'am. Start. Please speak something.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
They will not respond.
Okay. So this is Dr. Neetika Batra from SOIL, and I am the Associate Dean here and a Professor of Finance. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this evening. I'm looking forward to interacting with you. The session originally is envisaged with Anil Sachdev, so who will join us in a few minutes from now. And till that time, I thought I'll use this opportunity to interact with all of you and take over any queries that you have from SOIL. So let's shoot ahead. So I don't know, whoever has the first query, would you like to go ahead with that, please?
कैमरा सारे इसी से मैनेज हो रहा है.
हाँ?
वो जो कैमरा सारे इसी से मैनेज हो रहा है.
अच्छा.
कहीं हिल भी जाए तो फिर
नहीं, ठीक. So can you all see me and hear me? I don't know if I can get a confirmation from you.
Are we there?
Yes, we are here. We were just testing out. I introduced ourselves.
Yeah. How many are there?
9 is what yoga says.
Good afternoon to you. This is Anil Sachdev, the founder of the School of Inspired Leadership, and thank you for logging in. And I just want to say that how much joy it gives me to actually be part of this conversation with you. I think the whole experiment on higher education started in SOIL in exactly 10 years back when we were taking responsibility for who we are as leaders. We said to ourselves that management education has been too much focusing only on one dimension, which is of helping businesses to become more profitable through business excellence so that they could serve their customers and also take care of their employees' needs. But we felt that this is a more limited idea of education, that management education in India needed to respond to a new paradigm, which is to say, there is a lot that we need to do to build the right kind of country. And we needed to set the right examples, both by way of being committed to the community and to the ecological well-being of our country, because most of us spend so much time in our workplaces that actually they have become our new neighborhoods, they have become our new communities. At one time, the joint family in India was a unit in which we were building the culture of our country. But as time passed and joint families got converted into nuclear families, and people were beginning to pick up more Western habits of working long hours and spending more time with their colleagues rather than at home, and with the children coming down per family, and with spouses also joining and women joining the workforce, it was becoming increasingly important that workplaces were not just places which were emphasizing productivity and quality in a narrow sense of the term, but that they were also talking about how a company is helping to first create a work culture in which when people returned home, they were feeling very positive about what they did, so they carried that positive energy even into their home and into the neighborhood, so that the corporate culture would begin to have an impact on community culture. And secondly, we were very keen that the businesses were to not close their eyes to the state of the society, but they were to say, what difference are we making to society? How are we taking responsibility for the inequality in the society? How are we taking responsibility for providing more skills to people who require jobs? How are we contributing through technology which is polluting the environment lesser and in fact finding solutions to improve environmental well-being? So at least 5 stakeholders rather than only shareholder, customer and employee but also community and also Mother Earth. And so that the businesses would think more holistically. Secondly, we were very concerned that the word businessman in this country was synonymous with people having right contacts with politicians, so that both would benefit each other to advance their narrow agenda, which was for politicians to get elected and for business to get their own policies approved. We felt that ethics was very crucial in the way we would respond to running organizations, and ethics is not just being legally correct and ensuring your books are balanced properly, but really spirit of ethics, which is to use the right means to progress the business. So all this that we have been doing in School of Inspired Leadership over the last many years has been a wonderful success. And today we are inspired to create a new school where we are in the new Manasar campus. We are going to build a 2 years program in which we are opening admissions to also the freshly graduating class, which is still in college and which is graduating this year because that program starts end of July. So these fresh minds who want to come in, and we are tapping into those fresh minds who have some kind of a dream about making a difference to the world. They know they have some talent. They're asking themselves the question, what kind of talent should they be made more aware of? What is it that they should really value within themselves? And these young minds are asking then a question, I want to take responsibility. I want to make a difference. I'm tired of reading media reports and newspapers which say what is wrong with our countries or society. But I want to make a difference in something that I know I can do. So it could be that I want to set up my own venture, or it could be that I want to take responsibility for a social cause, or it could be that I want to join a big company, which is a well-known company, but in that big company, I want to be part of that conversation to say, how can our big professional company make a difference to the world? So when young people who want to explore this within them, we are conceiving the new school as a 2 years innovation journey in which students will learn to understand the community, come out with creative ideas to solve the needs of community, build solutions to actually implement those ideas, and then make communities self-sufficient to carry on this virtuous cycle of transformation. So both in our existing program, which attracts students with 2 or more years of experience, which prepares them for a life of inspired leadership, and the new school where young people on top of the inspired leadership agenda, which is of inspiring themselves to do more with less, here is an opportunity for them also to actually be of service by innovating new ideas and solutions which make society better. So this is the kind of conversation about both the programs that we are talking about in this wonderful new initiative. And at this moment, I just want to welcome each one of you. I can see some of you are online, like Trishank Agarwal and Sanat Kathuria, and also Kurmachalam Ajay Kumar. And I just wonder if there are other names that I am not recognizing right now. Some of your names may not be visible, is what Yoga, my young colleague and team leader here, is telling me. But I just want that. So why don't I also invite you to ask me questions so that I can then speak specifically to what you are interested in. So one of you has, of course, Trishank has just acknowledged your presence. I also wish good afternoon to me. And Sanad has also talked about has its webinar started, but I think we are waiting for now questions. So why don't you ask questions to me, my friend, who are online, and tell me what are you interested in. So then I'll be giving more insights to you about the questions that are in your mind, so that I speak to that rather than give you a general idea about what we are trying to do here in Soil. I'm just curious to know. I know there are 15 of you watching this webinar right now. So before I continue to talk, I thought it would be good to get your questions. Okay, while you are still thinking about your questions, here is something that I wish to say more. First of all, in the last 9 years of running operations of our existing school, how has the journey been? We have nearly 800 alumni who have graduated from SOIL. Nearly 40% of them are working in global markets. Some of the biggest recruiters over the last 9 years in SOIL, for example, HCL Technologies, has actually recruited more than 62 students from our existing program. And HCL Technologies recruits for their senior management training program and grooms them. So out of the 62 who joined HCL over the last 9 years, 41 are still working with HCL. And these 41 people are doing amazing work all over the world. The second group that has recruited a very large number of SOIL students are, for example, the Mahindra Group, Tata Steel, Infosys, Accenture, Cognizant, Anand Group, Volvo Eicher, and so many other companies. What we have learned over the last 9 years of running our one-year program is that industry loves the attitude of our students. They find that our students are more team-oriented, they have more humility, and they have some amazing qualities which make them more valued as compared to just any other business school. Also, what industry tells us that SOIL students really love what the SOIL philosophy is all about. And I think this is something that the one-year program has accomplished. In the two-year program, what we are especially looking at is this whole principle of design thinking. What is design thinking? You know, many years back when I was the founder and CEO of Eicher Consultancy Services, ECS, our 50% owners were a company called Strategic Decisions Group. These are, a lot of them were PhDs, in fact, 160 PhDs, all from Stanford Business School. And at that time, I was exposed to the powerful thinking frameworks of Stanford. In fact, we moved Dr. Bruce Judd, who was the SCG partner in Palo Alto, to Mumbai for several years. And around him, we built a whole new strategy consulting practice. It was at that time that I first heard about Stanford's design school and what is called the D Lab. And at that time, I also came to know and met friends who were working in Apple and other companies like IDEO. So right from that time, I have been fascinated with this subject of design thinking. It was apparent to me that the way we look at design thinking is about first learning to observe and listening to our stakeholders in their natural habitat. Second, when we observe, for example, the needs of our employees or customers or community, or when we observe how our business is impacting society, we also observe the way people who are investors, including the large number of public shareholders who have put money by trusting our company, what is their expectation from being associated with our organization? So, design thinking studies our stakeholders in their natural habitat to understand what they care about. Then we feel a sense of empathy for people's needs. Once we do that, we source inspiration within us to say, what difference can I make for my stakeholders? Then we come out with the creative, generative process of coming out with a number of ideas to make the lives of our stakeholders better. Based on that, we develop ideas into prototypes that we take back to the stakeholders as half-finished ideas and get their involvement on how we can improve a solution which is going to impact them, whether it's a new product or a new service. Based on that, we then improve the service and the solution and come back and serve society in a way that creates real impact. And then we scale up the solution. So we thought that India is at that cusp where on the one hand we are becoming a more developed country, but we have so many problems that we can solve if we really think holistically and innovatively. That's why in the new campus, in the 2-year program, we are conceiving it like a 2-year innovation journey. In the 1-year program, we are teaching you how to recognize your own strengths, how to define your own purpose, how to leverage your purpose towards things that matter to you so that you become an inspired leader. However, in the 2-year program, in addition to doing what the 1-year program does, we are creating a very deep experience for learning how to cause innovation. In our 1-year program, the innovation agenda is covered in our social innovation program, in which you work with an NGO 1 day in a week around a problem that matters to the NGO. So this is over 6 months out of the 1-year program. In our new 2 years program, we will be working on innovation 1 day in a week for 40 weeks in a year. That means the amount of innovation time for field work will more than double in the 2-year program. And rather than working only with NGOs, we will also work in the Manesar area. Since it's called the Japanese city, there are big companies like Maruti Suzuki and Honda and so on and so forth. There are also many interesting startups and other aspects of the community, including the rural community. So in the Manesar campus, people will work on the innovation programs over 2 years so that there will be a real opportunity to show by producing something new and introducing that transformation and change. And therefore, there is a significant difference in the 1-year and 2-year program in this respect. Also, in the 2 years program, because it's a longer program, we are also going to have 3 significant exposures. One, a rural immersion, where we will go to, for example, the Himalayas, like we take our students also in the 1-year program, but in a more deliberate and deeper way in the 2-year program. Secondly, a global immersion to a global place like Southeast Asia or China, which is the hotbed of innovation, to see what is happening there. And of course, also the industry internship of 2 months, which our existing 1-year program is unable to offer. So, in addition to 1 day in a week working with the innovation journey, there will also be this amazing amount of exposure of 3 months through 2 immersions and the project. So really speaking, something like 140 days out of the total 500 days of the 2-year journey, which is nearly 1/3 of the entire 2-year program, will be outside the classroom in field work and immersions, which is a significant redesign of education, because many educational institutions mostly have classroom sessions with the odd projects. In our case, the entire 2-year journey is something very significant. And Sanad wants to know about employment opportunities to build our professional experience. So already SOIL has more than 100 of the top companies recruiting out of SOIL. Many of them are extremely excited about our new 2-year program, and therefore they are the ones who are supporting the creation of the new 2-year program. In addition to the 32 companies that have already joined our consortium. We are very privileged to also invite a 33rd company, which is FL Smith, which is a global company, which is headquartered in India in Chennai. And we are also in advanced stages, and in principle, Honda has agreed to join our consortium, but we are waiting for the final paperwork. So they will also join something. So, and as far as Sanat Katuria is also asking, your future prospects, can we still be able to work abroad with the diploma we acquire from SOIL? In the 2 years master's program, our diploma PGDM will be recognized by Government of India. It will be approved by AICTE and will be recognized worldwide. In our existing 1 year program, we have a partnership with the institutes like Milan and MIP, which is one of the top schools in the world. And we also have partnership with the School of Innovation and Leadership in Japan. And we have a partnership with the Pinchot University in America, and also the University of New Brunswick in Canada. All those universities recognize our program, the 1 year program. But our existing 1 year program, we have not got government approval because we did not want to adopt the Government of India curriculum in the 1 year program. However, the 2 year program will have all the accreditation and recognition from also the government. So that's something you should know. So I have answered the questions raised to me. I think Pancham Rathod, who joined, is saying hi to me. So hi, Pancham. And I'm just trying to see if there are some more specific questions up there. Sanad also wants to know I want to understand how SOIL prepares us for upcoming roles in the industry. While everyone has their own expectation, how does the SOIL team connect us with relevant industry players? First of all, SOIL is the only business school in India which is co-created by 32 of the best companies in India. Now the number is increasing, given our new campus. So everything that we do is in partnership with industry. For example, when we designed the curriculum recently for our Manesar campus, we had a team of 30 people spend a week with us, including the Chief Learning Officer of Aditya Birla Group. Ajay Soni was present in all the week-long program to help us to draft the curriculum. That's just an example. Raman Sharma, for example, from Honda, who was the board member of Honda, was personally present to contribute to the learning design. So like that, HCL Technologies and so many other companies have participated in designing our curriculum. So because industry is involved in selecting curriculum. Secondly, in your admission interviews, we have industry leaders who participate. So they help us in selecting the right students. Thirdly, every student in SOIL is provided a mentor from industry. So there is a wonderful connect right through the year. Fourthly, industry people come and share their case studies, and there is always live current thinking. What is happening in industry is happening in our classroom. And lastly, all the projects of internship and otherwise research projects are sponsored by industry. And of course, finally, if the students are found suitable, they are also selected by this industry in line with the preparation that is done. So from even before you join SOIL, our industry partnership takes a very crucial role in planning this. Now, Akriti Arora, which reminds me also of a student by the same name, whom we had in SOIL. I wonder if this is the same Akriti or a different one. She joined late. I'm sure she's a different one because the Akriti Arora had already studied in SOIL as an alum. So I'm sure you are a potential student. You are asking Akriti, what does SOIL plan to accomplish in its 10th year? What are its future plans? So in our 10th year, which is this year, 2018, we are adding our new campus. We have taken a major risk by investing a huge amount of money into our new campus. And, we are therefore expanding our reach rather than just have the 130, 140 students a year in our 1 year program. Now we are adding, in the 2 year program, and therefore that will also grow from strength to strength. So 10 years from now, you will also find that in Pune, we have bought 18.5 acres of land for a third campus, but we don't want to start work on that till we have made the second campus viable. Because we first built the Gurgaon program and it took us many years to make it viable because it was our first attempt to get into education. Then we started conceiving Manesar. Once we work on Manesar and make that viable, we will then think about Pune, which is our third location where we have bought land, where we will be going into a deeper area in the future there. Instead of only thinking of inspired leadership and design thinking, in the future, we also have interest in public policy. For example, how should we prepare those who govern the country, whether they are in government or in politics and public life? And how do we prepare more community workers who can make India work better, people who work with the NGO world? So those are our plans for a third campus. But currently, in the 10 years that we are about to finish this year, in the 800 alumni who have graduated from our full-time program, in the 1,000 alumni who have graduated from our part-time and custom-built programs, we are very proud that what we have created so far is that we have created this very loving set of alumni who deeply care about soil and who are helping us to co-create and build this school. So I think our biggest wealth over the last 9 years is these alumni who are working all over the world and how much they deeply care about the school. And our second accomplishment is, and in fact, let me spend a few minutes in talking about our alumni. One of them, whose name is Sitesh, in a place called Bhagalpur, has created something called the Lakshya Center for Learning. The Lakshya Center for Learning focuses on the poorest of the poor and prepares those students with efforts outside their main school so that they become better as learners and leaders, so that they can improve learning outcomes, so that they can pursue higher education of the right kind. I think several hundred students of the poorest of the poor are studying in Lakshya, and Sitesh and his friend who are running that place for last many years, we are very proud of Sitesh. The second person who is from our first batch, who's also become a social entrepreneur, his name is Mayank Solanki. Mayank is somebody who runs an NGO called Yuva, which reached the final rounds of the best NGOs in the country, recognized by Times of India. Mayank runs initiatives on values-centered education. He teaches through his soft skills training the importance of values in life. And also, he teaches the youth the soft skills that they need to empower themselves, feel greater confidence, so they could serve society. In addition to that, from our first batch, we have a person called Abhishek Kumar, who has created a very successful business venture, which has gone into 3 rounds of funding and is now creating jobs and also employing people. He's in the area of payment solutions and doing an amazing job. He was recently received also some international recognition for the entrepreneurial venture that he had. Like that, there are several others who have created something called Ninja Card in Bangalore, which is set up by Soil alumni together, which is in the retail space. And there are others who have created other ventures. So I think the Soil alumni, the difference they are making through the ventures they have created, and some of them are now becoming employers in Soil by coming and recruiting our students. So I think in the last 10 years, we can feel very proud of the accomplishments of our alumni. But the proudest thing that we feel is when we hear from the recruiters and from the families of our students that Soil made their children, for the families, better students, better people, better members of their family and society. And we feel very humbled and happy when we hear from companies that Soil students are better team workers, more humble, and they always have a selfless attitude in serving others. I think we also hear that many of them are very creative. We also hear that they are very holistic. So I think this impact that we have had on 800 full-time and 1,000 other people in the last 9 years is something that gives us a lot of joy. Trishank is asking, how can we opt for the dual degree program option through MIP? How many minimum students have to opt for the dual program? The Soil can send us for the dual degree program. Trishank, this has always been something available, but we have not been able to implement it because the issue has been that not enough people. We one time had a condition 20 people should apply and only 5 or 6 were willing to spend that extra money, because you have to pay 5,000 euros extra and you have to pay for 3 months of lodging and boarding charges on your own, which also is, at least another 5 lakhs. So that 10 lakhs additional expenditure, only 5 or 6 students were willing to give, and therefore that program was not successful. But if you can persuade 20 of your classmates to join hand with you, we can once again talk to MIP about the potential of doing this program. I think that is what I would say. Although there is some new conversation we had with MIP that if it is not a degree program, but it's a certificate program, which is called their diploma, then they can reduce the numbers to 10 because it becomes viable for them. So that is the information. Damanjeet Singh is asking, sir, since the one-year program is not AICTE recognized, how does that affect students in terms of future prospects and opportunity? Damanjeet, more than 100 of the top companies in the world recruit out of soil from the same program that is not recognized by AICTE. So whether it is Accenture or Infosys or Tata or Mahindra, all these top companies recruit out of soil. So therefore, they don't care about AICTE approval. I think this is more if you want to be, if you are Damanjeet interested in a government job, then AICTE approval is necessary. If you want to join a public sector, then it is necessary. But otherwise, no. And in any case, if you are very particular about AICTE, you should then apply for our 2 years program that we are starting in July, because that will be recognized by AICTE. Sanad, you are asking one more question. You are asking what are your prospects after completing the 1-year PGDM? You are from a commerce background with 3 years experience and want to pursue a career in marketing and branding. So Sanad, there are many students like you who have graduated from SOIL and they have joined various companies. Typically for the marketing people, they either get into sales roles into companies, or they get into, sometimes if they also have interest in technology, they get into business analyst role, or some of them get into doing some work in the product management and marketing area. But I think almost everybody who wants to get into marketing and branding first gets a chance to work in sales. So I think first you must be ready to soil your hands in field sales, and many companies prefer to put you first in rural areas and difficult areas, so you prove your competence in sales before they can trust you into a corporate marketing job like marketing and branding. That is as far as that is concerned. Sanad wrote something else on, in communication. Okay, you have written in communication, not commerce. Well, if you have a bachelor's degree in communication, I can only say that communication is something which is an important area. But if you are looking at joining an advertising company, I would say that so far in SOIL, advertising companies are not recruited out of SOIL. I do not know where they recruit out of. Maybe they prefer to recruit out of institute like an Institute of Mass Communication or MICA or something like that, which are known only as communication schools. Generally, advertising firms and branding and communication firms may not come to a business school for hiring. So that would be normally the case. But if you are interested in an overall career in marketing and management, my suggestion to you is, even though your bachelor's degree may be in communication, you should broaden your thinking to say, how can you become a better business leader? Because when you start in communication, communication is an overall part of reputation management. Reputation management builds a brand that contributes to both strategy and marketing. That makes you a successful business person. So ultimately, you should be at the top of running a business when you're in your 40s or late 30s, or you should be becoming an entrepreneur. Either way, whether you become an entrepreneur or you become the top of your game, you have to graduate out of the communication function into something bigger. So communication is where you start, but you should not only focus on that. Therefore, as a communication person, if you get a larger opportunity in marketing, it might be something which is very, very important. Trishank, you are asking about sharing information on soil exposure on manufacturing management. So as far as manufacturing management is concerned, You see, as you may have noticed, there are a large number of manufacturing companies who are parts of our consortium, like Mahindra, like Tata Steel, like TVS Group, like Volvo Eicher, like Maruti Suzuki, and so on and so forth. So first of all, there are a large number of companies who are manufacturing companies who are associated with us. So basically, it's up to you, because we have not had that many students who, even though they may have worked in manufacturing, they don't want to return to manufacturing jobs. It's something interesting that they do management studies because they want to get out of manufacturing. But if you have manufacturing background and after doing management, you want to get back into an operation, supply chain and marketing, manufacturing role, then all I can say is there are a number of those companies associated with us, but not too many students have been interested. So if you are interested in returning to manufacturing after doing your master's with us, all I can say is there are enough companies which we have access to, but you will have to satisfy themselves that you are truly interested in returning on shop floor. And Kush Arora is asking the same question as Sanat: will there be any hiccup if you want to apply abroad for a job after pursuing 1 year diploma? Not immediately, maybe 1 or 2 years down the line. You see, as I told you, out of our 800 alumni, there are nearly 250 to 300 working all over the world in different companies. Including, I just picked up a few weeks back that, we had this wonderful person, Ms. Agarwal, Rupal Agarwal, from our first batch in 2009, who is vice president with Bank of America in Los Angeles. I was not even aware that she's working there. So there are a large number of our students who are working all over the world. I think the reason is because they impress people not by the paper or degree they have, but by the quality of their personality and their thinking and the work they have done. So all I can say is that for those companies that don't know us very well, let me tell you something else. If you want to work in America, even if you are a product from IIM Ahmedabad or XLRI or any of these schools, American companies don't recognize necessarily only Indian degrees. They will look at your quality, they will look at your ideas, they will look at the work you have done, and then they will consider you. So by studying in a school in India, you don't get automatically approved for a job internationally. It will more depend upon your personality and what you bring to the table. That is my experience. Trishank is asking about food processing and manufacturing. Well, Trishank, we have access to a company called Amul. All we can say is that we have worked with Amul on a number of assignments in the past. And therefore, that is one organization. The other, which is a consortium member, is Dabur, with who is a part of our consortium. But will they definitely consider you? I don't know. Depends upon your profile and depends upon how you are able to impress them with the quality of your own thinking. All we can do is to arrange for you to talk to people like Dabur. Their head of HR, Krishnan, is both a friend and a former colleague and a big supporter of Soil. Also, their head of HR for their international division, Sudhakar, is a mentor to many of our students. So it depends upon your own interest and your own big willingness to convince companies such as Dabur that you bring something unique to them so that they can then consider what you have to offer. So all we can say is Soil is a platform. We do not guarantee any opportunities to people, but these are, platforms in which we make you access some of the senior most leaders in the world. For example, yesterday, 10 of our students accompanied me to Chinmay Mission, where they were introduced to 6 global leaders. One of them was Farah, who was the Assistant Secretary of State of the Bush administration and Obama administration in the US. One of them was Mayor Fisher, who is the mayor of Louisville, the city from where Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali comes. One of them was the dean of, the mayor of Anaheim, which is in Los Angeles, which is the place where Disneyland is. And these people were coming because I am a member of the World Compassion Council. I represent India in that. And these mayors came to meet me, and I took them to Chinmay Mission and introduced them to our spiritual master. And 10 of our students were in this 90 minutes meeting yesterday in Delhi, where they were talking to this Assistant Secretary of State of the Obama administration, They were talking to these 2 mayors from the US and the 3 other global leaders, and they were talking about how they are bringing compassion in their life in soil and having interaction. Now, this happens frequently in soil, that the students of soil get exposed to some amazing leaders. And so that's what happens. And I think Akriti earlier replied to me to say she's not an alum, but she's joining the new batch. So that is so nice to know that, Akriti. We will have one more Akriti in our program. And Akriti wants to know why isn't soil taking part in B school ranking. Akriti, it's because we did not in our 1-year program choose to apply for AICTE approval. And because we did not go through that process, we did not want to just compare with any other school. But in our 2-year program that we are beginning in Manesar, we will be getting government approval. Therefore, we will join the mainstream management education domain. And therefore, the new program will participate a few years from now in the ranking. Right now, we don't like to compare because we are a very unique school of our kind, which is not in a part of an existing category. That's the reason why we did not participate. Nagesh wants to know, for the people with 15 years of degree education, will this program be added as 16th year degree? Nagesh, I know where your question comes from, because in United States, sometimes universities for higher studies want 16 years of education. All I can say is, we are not a program approved by Government of India. Therefore, it will depend upon the university in America where you are applying to for consider our 1-year education. Some of those universities which recognize our international tie-ups and course design may consider this, and some of them may not. So it will really depend upon which university and how creative they are. But what I have seen is most universities that insist on 16 years of education, once they look at the quality of your resume, they also are willing to make an exception. That is what I have learned, because my own son went to the United States when he had 15 years, then he did a 16th year by doing a 1-year program in France. But when he was applying, some of those American universities were not aware of ENPC in France. So therefore, they were asking questions and they accepted him. He joined the MBA in Indiana University in Bloomington. And the reason he went there is because people were impressed with him rather than his resume. So I think some of these universities look at the person and the way you write your resume. So that's where the 16 years of education comes from. Let's see, are there more questions coming up? While you are still thinking about your more question, let me say something else to you, that something that I'm very excited about is that soil has been chosen to be a partner of Teach for India. In fact, this year our convocation will be delivered by the founder of Teach for India, Shahin Mistry. Let me tell you how excited we are of supporting Teach for India. We are also very excited about our partnership with the Compassion Action Network and the Charter for Compassion headquartered in Seattle. For those who want to learn more about it, I would suggest you read online about the Charter of Compassion. Soil is a partner of the Charter of Compassion globally. It's one of the few schools in India that's a member. And I also represent, as I said, India in the World Compassion Council. This movement is trying to bring about compassion to the classroom, right from kindergarten to high school to master's program and to jobs in government and service and corporations. The third organization that Soil is very proud to be associated is with the world's largest volunteer network called Service Space. Service Space was founded by Nipun Mehta, a Berkeley graduate, who when he graduated in the late 90s, he and his friends started building free websites for not-for-profit organizations. They got so happy with what happened in serving people without charging any money that they became part of this new movement called Service Space. Service Space is the world's largest volunteer network with 500,000 members. Many of the service-based volunteers in India are from companies like TCS and Mahindra and other companies, and these are young people who are working together voluntarily to make life better for others. They are good to others for the sake of being good. They engage in random acts of kindness. Every day, ServiceSpace publishes what is called the Karma Tube, positive stories. They also run restaurants like Karma Kitchen. Like in Ahmedabad, we have the Karma Cafe, which is also called Seva Cafe, where people come voluntarily, they cook and they serve, and you don't have to pay 1 rupee at the end if you don't want to. But if you want to pay, you can pay for the next person. So these experiments we have been doing in soil, we also do regular Karma Kitchen in soil. And this is an extremely important part of our whole curriculum. So I just want to share with you as to how excited we are about our partnership with ServiceSpace, Charter of Compassion, and Teach for India, because these are 3 wonderful movements where people who join these movements and get exposure to them, they become better leaders and they become much more attractive employees from the top companies of the world. So whether it is Google or it is Facebook or it is Microsoft or it is Tesla Motors, they always try to recruit talent which is more rounded, which has this focus on compassion and mindfulness. I want to tell you that the soil curriculum is recognized. For example, I also want to tell you something else which is a very exciting development. I was in Japan last week and I met the CEOs of many companies and we signed our partnership with Shizenkan. Shizenkan is the new university in Tokyo that is developing a program on innovation and leadership on the same principle as soil. And as part of our agreement arrived with Shizenkan, we will be starting an exchange program with the Japanese university, which is supported by the best and the most wonderful companies in Japan. As a part of that, the classes in this university are held on weekends. They will take our students for 3 months. They will also arrange internships for them in the Japanese companies. So instead of serving and studying in India for that 3 months, our students could go and work in a company in Japan, attend classes on weekends. And of course, this would mean that students have to take care of their own travel and stay expenses, etc. But the opportunity is being arranged to really work together. I also want to tell you that we are creating a consortium of business schools all over the world. These are business schools that are Dr. Tomo Noda, who was earlier at Harvard, who's the founder of Shizenkan in Japan, and myself and the business school in Spain called IESC. The 3 of us have joined hands. And on 21st to 24th June, we have called a conference in Barcelona in IESC, in which Dr. Nitin Noria, the Dean of Harvard Business School, will be there, in which Henry Mintzberg, the world figure from University of McGill, will be there. The Dean of IASC will be there. The Dean of Shizenkan will be there. I will be there. And we are having a conversation on how we can reimagine management education. At the end of this conference, we are going to create a new partnership of these schools like IASC from Spain, Shizenkan in Japan, Soil, and a number of initiatives also from a school in Slovenia, whose dean is coming called from the Bled School of Management. Her name is Danica Perg. I'm giving you this information to share that Soil is developing some exciting new partnership with some of the world's topmost leaders in management education. And we are being seen as the pioneers in India that is being part of this new consortium. I will share this whole understanding with our marketing team so that you can also share this with all our potential and existing students. You please take the document that I have sent to Yoga for the Barcelona conference. You must make that available. If there are young students who have some thoughts that we should discuss in Barcelona, they can also contribute to that. So, Rohit Agarwal would like to know the placement statistics for the current batch. Rohit, out of our 135 students in the current batch, There are several who are here on a sabbatical. So let's say about 125 who are eligible, or 125 to 130 who are eligible for placements. We have a rolling process. First, those companies come which are recruiting in the larger numbers for their general campus program. 60 of our students have been placed through that. Now the next phase is beginning of the lateral recruitment process, which has started now, which will continue in March and April. Every year, by the time the convocation takes place, about 70 to 80% of our students get jobs. And within 3 months of their graduating, 99%, except for 2-3 who each year get left because of their uniqueness or profile, most of the students are placed within 3 months of passing out. But as of now, 60 out of the 125 or 130 who are eligible have got job offers. Average salary of the 60 in the business leadership program is about just a little less than 10 lakhs. And that means when they were earning on an average 4 lakhs before they joined, by 1 year of education, they have more than doubled their salaries. Secondly, in the HR program, where the fees is lesser, the average salary this year is close to 8 lakhs. And there again, people have more than doubled their salaries. This is the report so far. And every week, the report keeps on improving. And as I said, by the time convocation comes, 70 to 80% of the class have jobs. By the time 3 months after convocation, because people are recruited for lateral assignments, most of them get jobs. That has been the track record of SOIL. So, and that is what we have maintained over the years. Nagesh, the marketing people will send you the exact information on how much the 1 year program costs. I think the fee for the BLP is 14.5 lakhs. That includes the GST, and the fees for the HR program is a bit lesser. The fee for the HR program is 12.5 lakhs, including GST. This includes all the courseware, and it includes also the cost of the lunch and tea services we provide every day to our students. The way you should look at it is ROI. So how much are you earning? How much are you investing? How much do you earn after 1 year? And how long does it take to return the investment? So I would say SOIL is amongst the best ROI programs in the country. Venkat, of course, we have exchange program for HRLP also. So meaning you can also take advantage of the MIP exchange program, in which you can learn different subjects, including design thinking and innovation. As I also mentioned, Venkat, the partnership with the new Japanese university will make it possible for you to study there on weekends and do internships during the week. And this would make it available also in areas like international HR. So the answer is yes, but right now opportunities exist in Milan and in Tokyo. We hope to develop more such partnerships in the future. Venkat is asking, is it effective for 2018-19 batch? Yes. In fact, the draft of the MOU is being exchanged right now, and with the Japanese, and soon it will come. A daily TV channel is the name of some candidate who's saying, I agree, sir, but could not be less fee for people with not good financial background. We give scholarships to 10% of the class, which means suppose the budget for the fees is 1 crore, then 10 lakhs is kept for scholarships. So as far as 10 lakhs for scholarship is concerned, it is given to people based on both financial background as well as educational merit. It's a merit come means scholarship. For you to be eligible for scholarship, your total family income has to be less than 5 lakhs per year. We also give scholarships called the Vikram Batra scholarship to all children of armed forces people. If you are the son or daughter of an armed forces person, we are very happy to give you the Vikram Batra scholarship. And Venkat, you are saying you are interested in ISE Business School. I understand that. ISE Business School, so far our partnership is restricted to doing senior leadership and educational programs. But after my visit to Barcelona in June, we are also discussing if we could have exchange program with their MBA program. So far, our terms of engagement with ISET does not include exchange program for MBA program. It only includes joint executive education for senior leaders. We are launching a global leadership program with the help of ISE and our Japanese partner in January 2019. But for the MBA program, we are developing a new consortium. Let's see what comes out of the meeting in Barcelona, and therefore I'll be able to clarify that only later. Daily TV channel, the student is asking what are the loans facility available for financing our education. Large number of banks and companies are giving our, and most of our students get loans. But you have to, for that, to fulfill any loan requirement which will be given by any agency. So I would say we have plenty of opportunity, just like any other good school in India. So that's not a problem. More questions? This you write to our marketing, we can put you in touch with our finance department and put you in touch with the people who are giving loans. They can educate you more on specific conditions. I'm afraid I'm not an expert. I would say it just depends upon that. So I just want to say to you, meanwhile, thank you very much for all your questions. This has been an animated. I really like the questions you have raised. I also love the amount of interest you are taking. Congratulations on your decision to invest in yourself. And thank you very much for watching. I look forward to meeting some of you in person soon. Thank you very much and bye-bye.